Hi my friends, today we will unveil the mystery of the second dynasty in Chinese history, the Shang Dynasty. This dynasty not only left the archaeological discovery of rewriting cognition, but also hid the key password of civilization advancement. The Shang Dynasty was founded in 1600 BC and perished in 1046 BC for about 550 years. Due to its long history, many details have been buried in the long river of history, and the preservation of relevant historical materials is relatively limited. Even so, there are still some stories that span thousands of years and outline the outline of that era for us. Among them, the illusion of King Wen eats his son is particularly shocking. At the end of the Shang Dynasty, the ruler of the country was King Zhou of Shang Dynasty. He was a very special person, very smart, strong and able to write and fight, but he became worse and worse in the late period of his rule. He liked to enjoy himself, always drank and had fun. He also spent a lot of money to build luxury palaces, expropriated and collected money from the people, set up cruel punishments, and treated his subjects by means of tyranny, which made the people's complaints boiling. In the west of the Shang Dynasty, there was a tribe called Zhou. The leader of the tribe, Jichang King Wen of Zhou, ruled the country with benevolence and implemented good governance, which was deeply loved by the people, and the surrounding tribes were also attached to it. The growing power of the Zhou tribe aroused the suspicion and anxiety of King Zhou of Shang Dynasty. He was afraid that Jichang would threaten his rule. So he found an excuse to imprison King Wen of Zhou in Kuai.Bo. The eldest son of King Wen of Zhou dynasty is a famous filial son. Knowing that his father was imprisoned, he was so worried that he decided to go to Kuai, the capital of the Shang dynasty, to rescue him. Boyakao is not only filial, but also proficient in temperament. After arriving at the Kuai, King Zhou of Shang dynasty ordered him to play music for himself, ostensibly appreciating his talent, but actually brewing a cruel plan. King Zhou of the Shang dynasty heard that King Wen of the Zhou dynasty was known as a sage, so he wanted to test whether he was really like the rumor. He made a heinous decision: kill Boyako, turn his meat into meat cakes, and send someone to King Wen of Zhou who was in prison. When King Wen of Zhou saw the meat pie, he might have guessed the terrible truth in his heart. But in order to save himself and his people and accumulate strength to overthrow the tyranny in the future, he had to endure grief, pretend not to know, and eat the meat pie full of blood and tears. When King Zhou of Shang dynasty learned about this, he said contemptuously, "The world says that Jichang is a saint, and he doesn't even know that he ate his son's flesh, but that's it." So he relaxed his vigilance, accepted the beautiful women, horses and treasures offered by the Zhou tribe, and released King Wen of Zhou. King Wen of Zhou, who regained his freedom, did not forget this painful experience. After he returned to duty, he secretly gathered strength, recruited talents, and actively prepared to attack the great cause of the Shang dynasty. Although King Wen of Zhou failed to see the collapse of the Shang dynasty with his own eyes, his son King Wu of Zhou inherited his will, led a large army to fight against King Zhou of Shang dynasty, defeated the Shang army in one fell swoop in the Battle of ended the rule of the Shang dynasty and established the Zhou dynasty. After talking about the game between King Wen of Zhou dynasty and King Zhou of Shang dynasty, let's take a look at the other side of the Shang dynasty, the culture and cultural relics that have been amazing for thousands of years. The Shang dynasty is an important milestone in the development of Chinese civilization, and its most symbolic cultural achievement is oracle bone inscriptions. As the earliest known mature writing system in China, the discovery of oracle bone inscriptions is very dramatic. These symbols engraved on tortoise shells and animal bones have long been mistaken for the traditional Chinese medicine keel, and it was not until 1899 that the mysterious veil was unveiled by scholar Wang Yurong. The content of oracle bone inscriptions covers many fields, such as politics, economy, religion, and so on. From sacrificial divination to weather inquiry, and even the daily ailments of royal family members. They are recorded in detail. These words not only confirmed the true existence of the Shang dynasty, but also provided valuable first-hand information for future generations to study ancient society. In terms of material civilization, the bronze casting technology of the Shang dynasty reached a very high level. Taking Muwu Ding as an example, this bronze, weighing 832.84 kilograms, can only be cast with the cooperation of hundreds of people, which is the peak of ancient bronze technology. The tripod body is decorated with mysterious Taodi patterns and cloud and thunder patterns, which not only shows exquisite artistic attainments, but also reflects the reverence of Shang people for gods and ancestors. In addition, the bronze wine vessels of the Shang dynasty are also unique. The bronze wine vessels of the Shang dynasty are not only practical appliances, but also exquisite works of art, which confirm the records of merchants' good wine in the literature. The cultural features of the Shang dynasty are clearly reflected in its strong religious atmosphere. Merchants believed in ghosts and gods and worshipped them, believing that ancestors and gods could protect future generations. A large number of sacrificial records and oracle bone inscriptions vividly show the frequent religious activities at that time. From the choice of offerings to the scale of the ceremony, there are strict norms, and even the phenomenon of using living people to sacrifice. This worship of gods and ancestors had a profound impact on the political, economic, and social life of the Shang dynasty. The rise and fall of the Shang dynasty, oracle bone inscriptions and bronzes witnessed its mark of civilization. After the Western Zhou dynasty, China ushered in a period of great change, the Eastern Zhou dynasty. This is a troubled time of feudalism and war, and also a golden age of ideological agitation and contention among 100 schools of thought. For these wonderful stories and profound philosophies, please look forward to the next issue. Let's step into the Eastern Zhou dynasty and enjoy the magnificent history of the Golden Age and the burst of wisdom.